Начинается тур по Стэнфорду. Мы находимся в зеленом.
That would be great. I don't know, whatever these are. Benches? Danny boys?
I like benches better than dividers. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Keep on going in. Rolling on in. Hello, hello. My tourists. Hello, everyone. Hi. Again, my name is Tio, and I'll be your tour guide for today.
Hello.
Well, you guys are like setting high expectations. I usually like to tell my tour groups that, at worst, it's going to be extremely mediocre, but we can only move up from there. Yeah. Hopefully not down. But hi, my name is Theo. I will be your tour guide for today. It is nice to see all your living faces. First time here at Stanford for anyone? Raise a hand. Yeah. Hey, awesome. First time in California for anyone? Raise a hand. Hey, first time in the U.S. for anyone? Raise a hand. Hey, yeah, welcome. Well, I am from Chicago, so I came all the way out from Chicago 5 years ago. I did 4 years of undergrad and then 1 year long master's program. So I've been here for quite a while. I've done a lot of stuff, so I'm very knowledgeable. I hope I'm very knowledgeable in this university. But for my first 4 years here, I studied Earth Systems. It was an interdisciplinary major here at Stanford. So we combined climate science with engineering, with public policy and economics, all into one. And then for my graduate degree, I focused in renewable energy, technology, and policy. So I took a lot of engineering classes, took a lot of law classes, learned some law and litigation. So yes, I object to what Donald Trump is doing right now. But it's okay. Maybe not, but it's okay. Anyway, so outside of academics, I've done a lot here on campus. I was involved in hip-hop dancing. That's why I move around a lot, so do not be afraid of my movements. I've also was on the club soccer team as well. I was part of the Filipino American Student Union. I was a senior class president. I worked at Stanford Sierra Camp, like someone else pointed out for me. And did some research, studied abroad, yada, yada, yada. So I've done a lot of stuff on campus. If you're ever curious about any of those things or what kind of the community is like around here, just let me know, and I can tell you, or hopefully I can tell you. But anyways, just a couple things before we get started. So number one, we actually won't end here. We're going to end about a 15-minute walk away in White Plaza. Yeah. And number two is that I'm also going to be walking backwards. So if you see me about to run into anything or someone's about to run into me, please let me know. I don't want to get hurt on this tour, and I've yet to be hurt on a tour. So yeah. And number three is that I love and welcome questions. It lets me, get to know what you guys are curious about, interested in the university. Without your questions, I kind of just talk at random about whatever comes to my mind. Just kidding, I do have a process about this, but just let me know if you have any questions. I tend to be very energetic and like in your face, so do not let that scare you. Just raise your hand and we're gonna have some fun. You ready? Yep. Any questions before we get started? Nope. No. All right, let's get moving. Because it's a healthy choice, and I'm trying to cut back on caffeine.
Yeah, you gotta hydrate.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta hydrate, y'all.
I was up to like 4 cups a day at one point. Now I'm only down to 1. Yay! Healthy bodies. Alright, well this is going to be a fun tour, obviously. Yeah. Alright, so some other things about our athletic facilities. Before I get started on that though, does anyone here think of Stanford athletics or Stanford sports when you hear Stanford University? Raise your hands. Couple in the crowd back there. Oh man, not too many. That's always shocking to me because Stanford is actually one of the most successful athletic programs in the country, voted on by yourself, right here. Look at me. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But the NCAA does vote on the most successful athletics program here, and they call that the Director's Cup. So the Director's Cup is an award given out annually to the most successful athletics program. Now, they've been giving out this award for 25 years. For example, that first year, University of North Carolina won it. And the next 24 years that the award has been given out, Stanford has actually won that award for the past 24 years straight. Yeah, so there's a lot of great sports here, and that involves our 36 Division I varsity athletic teams. But if you're not as athletically inclined as like your world record holders, gold medalists, Olympians, whatever have you, you can always do club sports. That's what I did over here. So I loved playing soccer. I played soccer all throughout high school. I didn't want to go to college for soccer, but I wanted to continue on playing. Tried out for the club team my freshman year and did not make it, unfortunately. But you try and try again, and my sophomore year went out again to try it, and I made it finally. So club sports here are competitive, and you will compete like on the national level, like a club soccer team. We've got top 8 in the nation the past 2 years running, my senior year and my graduate school year. Now, I always like to ask this question, but is anyone here from Alabama? No? Okay, well, I've been to Alabama once, and probably the only time I'll go to Alabama, and that was for club nationals for soccer. Yeah, they had it in Alabama, of all places. But There are a lot of other club sports that compete nationally, like our women's rugby team does, and our men's and women's ultimate frisbee team as well. Do you have a question? No. Okay. Outside of club sports, we also have IM department. Anyone know what IM stand for? Intramurals. Yeah, I just shot them at some time. But intramurals, they have intramural basketball, football, hockey, soccer, a lot of fun intramural sports to just get you and a group of friends together. It's more fun than competitive. But if you want to learn a sport, you can always do athletic classes here as well. So athletic classes here, very fun times, and yes, they do count towards your undergraduate degree. So, I gave my parents my transcripts my senior year. They were very curious about what I've taken here at Stanford. They flip over to my freshman year. They saw I took beginner table tennis, and they were like, "Why did you take a ping pong class?" And I was like, "I wanted to learn how to play ping pong." Of course, Mom and Dad. They flip over to my sophomore year, and they're like, "You took yoga, Pilates, fusion for a unit of credit." And I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to not only take yoga, but also Pilates at the same time." So I took yoga, Pilates, and fusion. So the athletic classes here can be very fun. So you can learn how to golf, you can learn how to sail. You can even become scuba certified through our athletic classes as well. So a lot of opportunities here to stay active on campus. So that's all I talked about in terms of the sports here. Does anyone have any questions about the sports athletics programs? Yeah?
Do you guys do requirements for sports or no?
Do we have requirements for sports? No, we don't. We have fencing, yeah. So we have a Division I fencing team. Yeah, there was a fencer from Stanford who went to the Rio Olympics. Got a bronze medal, actually, in 2016. Yeah. Any other questions about sports or athletics here at Stanford? Sorry, I just want to be in the shade. Coming into the shade or into the sun, wherever you like, It's a very free-flowing tour. Prospective undergraduate student, like this building can be very important to you. I know it's very important to me because half of this building, the admission side, let me come here, and the other half allowed me to come here with financial aid. So I like to focus on financial aid because a lot of the people here on these tours have been part of the Discover Stanford program, so I've heard a lot about admissions. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, but we'll focus on financial aid at this point in time. But about 50% of Stanford students will be on some form of, over 50% of Stanford students will be on some form of financial aid. And the financial aid that comes here to Stanford is need-based financial aid for domestic students. So I know without the money that I received from Stanford, I would not be giving this tour in front of you. I would not have been a Stanford student. But because of the money that I received, it actually made it cheaper for me to come here to Stanford than my home state University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Yeah, so sometimes it can really make it affordable for your families, and it's all need-based. It's not merit-based financial aid, it's need-based financial aid. So you'll send in your family's finances, and they will accommodate you in however they can. So there'll be a lot of people on different forms of financial aid. You'll talk to the financial aid officer, try to make it work with your family's finances, and we'll take a lot of other things into consideration as well. But that's our financial aid. Admissions, you can apply, you get in, you don't get in, that happens. But yeah, who knows? I don't know why I got in. A lot of people are like, why did you get in? Did you get a perfect SAT score, perfect GPA? I did not. So you don't need to be the best student in the world. You do need to be a good student, but I certainly was not the best student in the world. I was not number one in my class, did not get a perfect SAT or ACT score, and I still got in. So it is still possible. If you are not that number one in your class, still keep hope of that, and just put together a good application the best that you can. And something good can happen from randomness. So yeah. Any questions?
Any tips on the essays?
Any tips on the essays? So I would say just write about something about you. So do something that they can't tell already from your transcript or your extracurricular activity list. So write about something that you want to talk about. Yeah, you have 4 essays to kind of tell your own story about who you are, and use those 4 essays to your advantage.
What about foreign students?
Foreign students, so international students, they have basically the same kind of application process, but if you do need financial aid, they are not need blind for international students, they're need aware. So they would be aware if an international student needs financial aid from the school. And then also I think you do need to submit a TOEFL requirement of what it's called. TOEFL? Yeah.
Yep.
Is TOEFL required from Canada?
I don't know, because it's an English test, right? It might not be from English-speaking countries, but I'm not 100% sure. So definitely check on the admissions website for those requirements. Other questions? All right, we can get moving then, and let's keep going. Up in Wisconsin at that point in time, and Leland Sr. is a lawyer. He's practicing law, but he stops practicing law about 1 year later in 1851 because his law office burns down in a chemical fire. Why chemicals are in a law office, I have no idea, but he's out of a job right now. So he's looking around and actually gets in touch with his brothers from California. His brothers from California are like, hey, Leland Sr., you guys should come out to California, join us, we're starting a family business. Does anyone know what's going on in California in the 1850s? The gold rush. Yeah, so the gold rush is going on in the 1850s, and he's like, I don't want to mine for gold. That doesn't sound like something I want to do. But now, the family knows we're just going to sell the equipment to the gold miners. And he's like, oh, sounds perfect, I'll go out there. Goes out to California, meets up with his brothers, makes a good amount of money. And naturally, like any other businessman would do, what do you do after you make a good amount of money? You go into politics. Yeah, so he goes into politics. And runs for governor of California, becomes the first Republican governor of California. But he also spends it in an investment. So he invests in the railroads, a big investment in the 1800s. Invests in the railroads, makes the Central Pacific Union with him and a couple buddies. They connect then with the East Coast, big East Coast Railroad Company, and they make the Transcontinental Railroad for these United States. Wow. Yes, so the Stanfords have that money, or that name attached to them, and that's where they make a good amount of their money. Across the street. How do you maintain this level of energy? Well, I'm a 98% extrovert according to the Myers-Briggs test, and I think that kind of can just explain it all. Yeah. Like, my friends were not shocked that I was an extrovert on Myers-Briggs. I don't think you guys would be shocked if I was an extrovert on the Myers-Briggs test. Yeah.
I see most tour guys are.
Yeah, but there's some introverts. I mean, like, we hire, like, a lot of different people. Alright, let's stop for a little bit right over here in the shade. For just, like, a quick second so that everyone can get on the sidewalk. How we doing, folks? Doing well?
Good.
Yeah, we're, like, not halfway done yet. I don't know why I, like, got some hope up. Alright, and we got every governor. Fast forward to 1868, and in comes our last main character of the story. That's when Jane and Leland Sr. have their one and only child, Leland Stanford Jr. So they're living up in Sacramento. They decide that's a little bit too much hustle and bustle for them. City life is not for them. They buy a small, I put small in quotation marks, only 800 acres plot of land in the Palo Alto area. Yeah, how small. They decided it was a little bit too small for the three of them, and they buy well over 8,000 acres in total. Get up to 8,180 acres of land. They call that land the Palo Alto Stock Farm. So you've ever heard of Stanford being called the farm. That's the origins of our nickname. But they were living on the Palo Alto Stock Farm, and naturally, like, Leland Jr. is a very privileged child. One day he goes up to his parents, he's like, hey, Mom, Dad, I really want to be a museum curator. I want to curate my own art gallery. Any ideas on what the Stanfords then do for him after this?
Make an art gallery for him?
They make an art gallery for him, yeah. So they build him his own museum, and it's empty, though. So now they have to go all the way across Europe and collect all this art, and they do that. They come back to the United States, they put it all in the gallery, and now it's only half full. So what they have to do is go on a second expedition of Europe. This is where the story turns very tragic for the Stanford family. On the second expedition of Europe, Leland Stanford Jr. contracts typhoid fever in Istanbul. He gets rushed over to Florence to get him the best medical attention they can get. But he unfortunately passes away just a couple months before his 16th birthday in 1884.
Wow.
The Stanfords are completely distraught over this. And I'll continue on the story a little bit later when I get into the shade. No, so that night, and in Leland Sr.'s troubled sleep, he has a dream where Leland Jr. approaches him. And Leland Jr. tells him in the dream, if you have nothing to live for humanity. Let the children of California be your children. He takes this and wakes up, tells Jane, and they think of three proper ways they can memorialize their son. He's either a university, an art institute, or a technical institute in his name. And okay, and they leave Europe. They get back to the United States and get over to the East Coast. While they're on the East Coast, they actually talk to the friend of the Harvard president. And they ask him what they should do. And he says, I don't know. But if you want to build a university, you need at least $5 million for the endowment. So I was going, okay, $5 million? It's a lot of money, but maybe we can do this. 1 year later, in 1885, Leland Sr. and Jane, they signed the founding grant, endowing $20 million to the Leland Stanford Jr. University. That was about 1/5 of the total wealth of all universities at that point in time in the country. Wow. But also in this founding grant, they held 5 very important principles, 5 tenets, rules that Stanford was to always follow and never to break. If one was ever broken, it would shatter the very foundations of the school, shake it to its core. Yeah, one was broken if you I couldn't get the gist of that. So, we have 5 tenets, now only 4 remain true today. I'm going to list all 5. We're going to see if you guys can guess which one does not hold true today. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 1, Stanford is to forever remain coeducational, allowing men and women to study here. Number 2, Stanford is to be open to people of all backgrounds. It doesn't matter where you come from in this world. Number 3, Stanford is to remain non-sectarian, not affiliated with a religion. Number 4, the land that Stanford is owned on is never to be sold. And number 5, Stanford is to remain tuition-free for all students. The last one sounds a little fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back in 1921, Stanford University had to start charging its students tuition. Any guesses on how much it was for 1 year back in 1921? $100. Welcome to Stanford. Who said that? Yeah, come on down, sir. Price is right. Yeah. Anyone? Okay, it's fine. But $100 back in 1921, so the price tag just a little bit more in today's numbers. You know, inflation and everything, taxes. Yeah. But we started with the inner quad, and we'll go inside of that a little bit on October 1st, 1891. Have been expanding on all 8,180 acres of land since. One of those expansions was 50 years after the university opened up. This building right behind me, it's named Hoover Tower. Not after the vacuum, but after the president. Yeah, so Hoover Tower, named after Herbert Hoover, 31st president of the United States. They're the tallest building on campus, 285 feet or 87 meters tall. And right across from our tallest building on campus, we have our largest auditorium on campus, and that's Memorial Auditorium. That's our largest auditorium. Feel free to take pictures around here. We'll be around for 1 or 2 more minutes and just ask me questions. But when we get going again, I'll talk about Mem Odd. Any questions? To meet all the different freshmen in your classes and everything, you'll go around and kind of explore. And those are one of probably my favorite events there. It's called Faces. Faces is this event where you go inside Memorial Auditorium at night, and 5 students are chosen to get to talk to the incoming freshman class. And they talk about very difficult topics like mental illness and family emergencies and whatnot. So we'll talk about those and we'll talk about how the Stanford community has supported them through that. So it's a nice way of knowing that, you know, a lot can happen outside of your control in 4 years, but the Stanford community is here to support you. There are friends here, advisors, mentors, faculty members, counselors, whatever have you at your disposal to use for your support in whatever fashion you need. So not only is Memorial Auditorium used during NSO, but it's also used throughout the year. So people, Stanford will invite a bunch of different speakers to come to campus and speak to the masses here. So they'll put them in Memorial Auditorium to make it as accessible as possible to students and actually give out those tickets for free. A lot of times it's in a lottery-based system. So during one of my first couple months here at Stanford, I got an email saying that President Barack Obama was giving a speech on campus. And I was like, that's so cool. I would love to see Barack Obama give a speech. And I was like, how much is it? They're like, it's free. And I was like, how do I get a ticket? They're like, enter into this lottery and maybe you'll get a ticket. I entered into the lottery. I got a ticket. I saw President Barack Obama give a speech. About a couple months later, Oprah Winfrey was coming to campus, and I was like, man, how much is that one? They're like, it's free. And I was like, great. Entered into the lottery, won a ticket, saw Oprah give a nice talk. She just unfortunately did not give out cars or money to anyone. That was unfortunate. I was expecting something underneath my chair, like car keys. Yeah. But no, alas. But a lot of cool speakers and performers will come to campus. So in Dinkelspiel Auditorium, which is an auditorium used by a lot of different student groups, that's not there on your left, but it's behind this building. But Dinkelspiel Auditorium holds about 600 people, and people like Hassan Minaj has performed inside of there. So Hassan Minaj is a daily correspondent on his daily show. We also had Jesse McCartney, if you know him. Jesse McCartney came and performed and gave a concert on campus. Also, students will perform in these different spaces, so Memorial Auditorium on our campus, where we're in between the main quad and the oval. So I mentioned that we started with the main quad, but it was the inner quad that we started with in 1891. So this is the outer quad. Again, still very important buildings. Like if you look over there to your left, you see a building with white statues. That building with white statues on top is called Wallenberg Hall. Wallenberg Hall is home to our power department. Power is spelled PWR, standing for Program and Writing and Rhetoric. So that are some of the mandatory classes will take place inside of Wallenberg Hall. Power is basically a writing requirement for all students, all undergraduates here. So the first year, it's a 2-part series. First year during your freshman year, you'll take Power 1, and you'll learn about persuasion writing. So you'll write around 4 essays total during the class period, and you'll give those into your professors, and they'll make you a better writer. During Power 2, you'll become a better public speaker. So you'll learn all about public speaking. They'll have public speaking coaches in there, and you curate this kind of presentation all throughout the quarter, and then you'll deliver it to the 20 people in your class. How fun. Yeah. So communication requirements. We also have thinking requirement, thinking matters requirement. So that is a class taken your freshman year. It will be specified on a single subject. So one thing matters was called evil, and just the word evil. So they talked about evil in literature, evil in the media, evil in art, whatever have you. Another one was called journeys. So they talked about different journeys that people take. Mine was called energy, question mark. Understanding the challenge, developing a solution. So mine was all about developing an energy solution for a certain country. So all these different classes will either have an end of the term project. So in Thinking Matters, you have an end of the term group project, or you'll have an essay in Power 1 or a speech in Power 2, whatever have you.
Do I like it?
behind Joe is the Oval. So the Oval is a nice lawn area here at Stanford, and it houses a big Stanford S made out of flowers, so it's a very popular picture spot as well. But students love to go out there to play soccer. They will, set up volleyball nets, play ultimate frisbee. And Stanford's even nice enough, it's just like, unknowingly enough, it's probably the most useless fact that I'll give to you on this tour. But Palm Drive is home to Canary Island palm trees. Yes, palm trees from the Canary Islands. So now I know it doesn't come up a lot in conversation, but if you ever ask, hey, what kind of palm trees are there at Stanford University? Now you can say, Canary Island palm trees. Thank you, yeah. So, and just past Palm Drive, what's more important is downtown Palo Alto and ways to get off campus. So I'll talk about different ways to get off campus, but I'll do that when we get going. So feel free to take pictures around here. We're going to quickly move into the shade or ask me questions. So, yeah. Stanford does have a CS building. We're going to go by there in a little bit. Taken during your freshman year, it's a 3-unit course here, specified on one single subject. And then your WAYS requirements are like your general education requirements. So instead of being like 1 or 2 classes, there'll actually be these buckets of things. So one WAYS requirement is called scientific method analysis. So you'll take like a science class, but there are like 100 of different classes that can fulfill that one. There's another one called engaging diversity. So there's a bunch of different classes that can fulfill engaging diversity. There's one called creative expression. I took introduction to photography for that one. One of my friends took introduction to cell phone photography for that one. One of my friends took social dance for that one. So like there's a bunch of different classes in each of these different WAYS requirements. And there's like 8 WAYS requirements here on campus. Yeah, SMA, AQR, ED, ER, CE, others. AP credits can get you out of like different requirements for your major. So I use my calculus AP credits to get me out of 2 math classes. So I only had to take 1 math class here. Yeah, super San Francisco. Then Stanford will buy Caltrain tickets for all the freshmen in the freshman class. The Caltrain tickets will be distributed out to you. You'll walk on over to the Caltrain with your RAs. They'll hop on board. They'll split you up into teams of 4 or 5. And once you get to 4th and King, the very last stop of the Caltrain, they'll hop off and they'll be like, all right, see you in 8 hours. Have fun exploring. Yeah, so you get 8 hours kind of just explore the city. The scavenger hunt is to help you kind of guide you to different areas of the city. So we went to the Mission and saw some murals. We also went to Golden Gate Park and had a nice picnic over there. We went to Pier 39, parked at some sea lions, and we also went to Tiffany Company and tried out an engagement ring. Yeah, that was 100 points for us. And that engagement was a lot of money. It was really funny. Me and this other woman, we walk in, shut in. We're like, we're getting married. We want the best ring. And I'm wearing like a t-shirt and shorts. And they're like, okay, what's your budget, sir? And I was like, love has no budget, so I have no budget. And they laughed too. Thank you so much. But they were like a little concerned, so they bring out this ring. It was $10,000. I was like, not good enough. I need a better one. They bring out another one. It was $20,000. I was like, I want your most expensive ring. Make this big scene in the store. And they're like, okay, sir, calm down. They bring out this ring, $75,000. I was like, good enough. And I was like, well, we have to walk away. We're going to check out some other ring stores. Actually, did not check out other ring stores, and they knew that. They're like, these kids, these punks. But we had a lot of fun, and a lot of people have fun in the San Francisco scavenger hunt as well. Some other things that are traditions here at Stanford that will get you off campus are things like ski trip. So ski trip is taken by every dorm and house here at Stanford, and you'll drive 4 hours just up to Lake Tahoe and spend a nice weekend over there during the winter quarter. So that's why it's called ski trip, because it snows up in Lake Tahoe normally. And so I didn't go skiing. I was like, I don't want to ski, I don't want to snowboard. I just spent a nice relaxing weekend up there. Other questions? We're into the heart of our academic talk. Man, you're stealing everything away from me. Just kidding, just kidding. I can talk about this school for hours. What's the secret? Get over here. $20 for lodging and it will depend on the house and dorm, but normally it's around $20. I haven't paid more than $30 for mine. So like dorms, houses will go, fraternities and sororities will go on ski trips. You have like different student groups that will go on ski trips. So for the grad students out of the School of Earth, you go on a ski trip, call it GEO. 10 weeks of classes and a week long for finals. And essentially, all students here will take around 3 to 5 classes. That's the average, 3 to 5 classes per quarter. So take around 9 to 15 classes in a year. If you compare that to a semester school, 3 to 5 classes a semester, that's only 6 to 10 classes in a year. So right at their maximum, kind of at our minimum. Which is the reason why not every single undergraduate student here at Stanford will come in undeclared. You actually cannot declare your major until the beginning of your sophomore year, and you have until the end of your sophomore year to declare your major. So you have, essentially, if you want to take all that time, you have 2 years to explore around different majors and kind of choose which one you want at the end of your sophomore year. And even if you want a little bit more time, one of my friends declared his major senior fall, and he still graduated in 4 years. Yeah, how fun. But a lot of students will do that before their end of their sophomore year, and so I came in here, I wanted to be a math major. I was like, yeah, math, why not? I took 1 math class here, and I did really bad in it, and I was like, yeah, no more math for me. I'm done with that. And then I started talking with my PMA, or pre-major advisors. So every freshman will come into Stanford not only undercurrent, but also with a pre-major advisor. So your pre-major advisor will help you find your academic footing here, so I like to call it. So they'll help you find different intro classes that you can take that might interest you. They'll also help you find, like, connect with different professors, different faculty members, and you can talk to them about what the major means and like what it means to be a blank major, whatever have you. So I talked to my pre-major advisor. He was like, if you didn't like math, what about physics? So I was like, I like physics. Physics is kind of like math. You can do a lot of math in there. Took my first physics class, and I didn't really like it. I was like, kind of boring. So your credits, you need 180 units to graduate. A lot of the majors are structured so that they're under 90 units. Some are a little bit more. Those are kind of tend to be your engineering STEM focused majors. But you just need 180 units to graduate, so you'll just apply those. A lot of times, the introductory courses that you're taking also apply to WAYS requirements. So I took Intro to Photography, and I got that as like my WAYS requirement of creative expression out of the way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can. So I took a business school class over there. It was very fun. The business school classes are really cool there because they're pass, no pass, and so it doesn't affect your GPA. Great. Yeah. Other questions?
What percent, or like which classes are pass or no pass?
So normally your athletic classes are pass, no pass. All your basically 1 unit classes are credit, no credit, so they have 1 unit seminars. There's one called the Energy Seminar where they brought in a different lecturer talking about like their paper or their research or whatever have you. Those will just be like 1 unit classes that you can take and you'll just like hear the person talk. Those are generally the 1 unit ones. And pass, no pass. You have a question?
Yeah, what's a typical day like?
Typical day like as an undergrad. So it'll vary from year to year, from quarter to quarter, but typically an undergrad will probably wake up, go to class, or if you have breakfast, you can eat breakfast, whatever. But go to class, come back to lunch, have a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 more classes after lunch, and then after that, it's around like the afternoon, so around 2 or 3 is when you'll probably be out of class, and you can book meetings with people, so you can meet with like professors, you can have club meetings, whatever have you. People might have practices, so if you're a Division I athlete, you'll have an afternoon practice sometimes during your season. If you're just a regular person, you might have a practice like at night, so the club soccer team would practice 8 to 10 on Monday and Wednesday nights. My dance team would practice 9 to 11 every Tuesday, Thursday nights, so it just works perfectly for me, but like, yeah, so that would be like kind of your typical day. You'll eat dinner sometime in there too as well. Did you have a question behind me?
I was wondering how many hours of class maybe you had in a week.
Oh yeah, so the classes are going to be, if it's a, so we have, I mentioned units right here, right? So units, typically you'll have 3 hours of work, so it's going to be, if it's a 1 unit class, you'll have 1 unit of work in class and then 2 units of work outside of it. But 2 units of, or 2 hours of work. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah. Can I name 3 things I don't like about Stanford? So sometimes the stress level gets pretty bad, especially like, so one time I took 7 classes, and I was like, why not try this? Don't try that, absolutely not. But my stress level got like pretty bad there. I like did not basically talk to anyone for like, I had this string of 3 weeks where in 3 weeks I had 7 tests. So much fun, not fun. But, so I basically didn't talk to anyone there. So the stress level got pretty high at some points in time. The university moves pretty slow in terms of like listening to students. So Fossil Free Stanford, a group on campus that has encouraged Stanford to divest from fossil fuels from all like their earnings. We passed a 70% vote by the student body saying that we should divest, and we passed on to universities that have yet to like acknowledge that. And then the last one, I don't know. This could be like oh yeah, work too hard or like whatever, but like there's like too many things to do here at Stanford. Truly, like I like can still find a ton of classes that I still want to take, and I've been taking classes here for 5 years now. Yeah. And last one before we keep moving.
You said that 2 units of work outside of class for every unit of work inside of class?
Yeah, essentially.
On average, given the number of quarters you have 15 units a quarter?
Yeah, on average. So you average 15 units a quarter. If you average 15 units a quarter, you'll graduate in 4 years.
So that would be 45 hours of work a week. That seems like Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of times the number is not really accurate, so some classes can be harder, some require more attention, some require less, but I think it averages out to kind of that, because you have to like build in sleep and eating and like extracurricular activities being, yeah, pretty much. Alright, let's keep moving. Biology is the #1 major here at Stanford about 5 years ago, and that building right over there to your back right, that is the computer science building. It's called the William B. Gates Computer Science Building, or the Gates Computer Science Building. And you know famous Gates and computers. Bill Gates, yeah, he went to Harvard, but he donated the money to Stanford because he was talking about the great technological innovations that are coming out of this school. But this was back in the 80s, so this was before like your Googles, Cisco's, Yahoo's, whatever have you. I'd be asking yourself, then what was he talking about? Great technological innovations. And that brings us to these two people, to your left and to your right. Hewlett and Packard, combine them together, Hewlett Packard, HP. HP, they were students back here in the 30s. And that's why Bill Gates donated money back in the 80s for the computer science building, and that's why computer science is now our #1 major, most popular major here at Stanford. There, how's with inside the School of Engineering? So the School of Engineering takes up 23% of the undergraduate population. So yes, there's a large portion of that, but they have 9 majors and 6 programs inside the School of Engineering. They range from electrical engineering to mechanical engiering to aero-astro to things like material science engineering, chemical and bioengineering. You have product design, art and design, architecture design program, and a lot of other things inside of there as well. So that is our School of Engineering in a nutshell. Moving on to the School of Earth, the best school here, unbiased opinion. But any guesses on what percentage of the school of undergraduates study inside the School of Earth? 5, 10,
20.
1, 20, 2%. 2% is closer. So 2% inside the School of Earth. I know you guys all want to burst out into applause because you're getting a tour from one of the 2% here, but please hold it till the end. It's okay, guys. Hold your horses. But although we have a little bit of the undergraduate population studying inside of the School of Earth, we have a lot of the research opportunities that go on around here. So around 50% of undergraduates will conduct research at some point in time during their undergraduate years, and that is all thanks to a UAR department. So they help fund students over the summer or over a quarter if they take a quarter off. UAR department stands for Undergraduate Advising and Research. They set aside about $6 million every single year for undergraduates to conduct research over the summer, whatever have you. So undergraduates will just apply for grants, and that can take them over to things like Palau. One of my friends did research in Palau, and she would be in the water every single day looking at corals and stuff. Another one of my friends went to Patagonia. He's actually there right now. Patagonia, he's a philosophy major studying inside, or doing research inside the School of Earth with a professor over there. A couple of my friends went to Antarctica. One of my friends went to the Arctic. So you can go to a lot of really cool places with the School of Earth. Hawaii, China, down to Cape Town, wherever have you. So a lot of cool, interesting places. And we also do research in the humanities. So one of my friends, he got about $7,000, around $7,000 to go all across Europe and just write a play. So he wrote a screenplay, which is really cool. Another one of my friends, he wanted to combine his interest in media, but also environmental science. And what he did was he took our fall quarter off, and also did this over the summer for 6 months. He brought himself on a boat. He bought himself a new camera with the money he got from UAR, and for 6 months he was on a boat sailing across the different Pacific communities, and he made a documentary about how these Pacific communities are negatively affected by climate change. One of the coolest projects that I've heard about is my friend. She really likes education, wants to be an educator, but she's a computer science major. She was like, how do I make this applicable? What she did when she applied to the UAR department, she got $8,000 and she bought herself a new bike. But she also found herself biking across the country from Washington, D.C. all the way to San